Yo, what's going on? What's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, Tbkc, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. This video is actually all about the top lines. Now, this is something I will tell y'all, man. Don't be tricked, don't be fooled. First and foremost, we will talk about the stacking of the top line. Now, the stacking of the top line is where the tricks of the trade come in. Of course, the top line is supposed to be level. Now, what can be allowed, and when we're talking about top line, for those that don't understand, that's the back. That's how the back is supposed to basically go straight across horizontally. Now, what can happen is a slight, now I mean slight, but a slight slope downwards. Never curving in with this type of shape and a little dip in the back. Definitely never, high from the rear and sloping towards the shoulders. And that's why that's the main reason why the high rear is two flaws, because once the dog has the high rear, it always causes a bad top line. Secondly, it's the same reason why a straight stifle. So if you hear people talk about straight stifles, that means the leg doesn't have proper bend to it. The leg is pretty much straight, and it doesn't have, the proper bend to it. And what that'll make it happen is when the leg is straight like that, the majority of the times the dog has a high rear. When the dog has a high rear, the dog is going to have a bad top line. So when you're judging, this could be deadly. And this is why these are things that you should watch out for. Now, this video is only, I went into the straight stifles and high rears, but this is only about top line. So this is what I'm going to tell y'all. When you're buying a puppy, or when you're looking at a dog possibly to invest in an adult dog, excuse me for the stuttering, the main thing that you want to do is you want to see that puppy move. You want to see that puppy start moving. You want to see that puppy start moving. I will say it one more time. You want to see that puppy or adult dog start to move. This is the one thing that's very, very true. It will always be true. It will always remain true, is that a dog will show you his structure in movement. Now, you have many different things that go on with people with these top lines. The dogs who have the straight stifles, and remember I said that's the leg that doesn't properly, y'all know how dog's leg is. Off the butt, it usually comes down to the ankle, and it has sort of then straight down. Well, even with dogs with the straight stifle, the owner can pull the legs back. The dog will basically be on his tippy toes in the back because it's not properly angled for him to come straight down on his feet. But they can pull him and pull him and pull him until the dog has a straight top line. Now, if you don't know what you're looking for, the dog will look like he's way stretched out. They do this, and that confuses people because people see a side shot, they're paying attention to strictly this, the top line. They're not looking at how the dog is stacked, and he looks like, the back legs are pulled out too far. What happens is they think this dog has a legitimate top line, which he doesn't. Next up is something that the local cheaters at the Tbkc have mastered. And what it is the dog will have a high rear, but he won't have the straight stifle. So what happened is that the dog will be basically taught to squat in the back. And they teach the dog, everything with repetition. You can teach the dog, how to stack, and the dog doesn't know that it's bending. It thinks that this is the way it's supposed to properly stack. But what they do is you'll see this in the ring. You'll either see sometimes the handler put a knee, and they'll be kneeing the dog, nudging him slightly in the side. That's his signal for him to drop his rear more. They're kneeing him. So, of course, with the dog feeling a little bit of pain, a dog's natural body reaction, it lowers itself. Well, some of them have mastered this. It's incredible that they do this much training and don't learn how to breed a damn dog without a high rear. But they do that. Sometimes you'll see them actually rest their hands on the dog's rear while they're stacking them. This is to put the dog into a position. Once that dog is in that position, that dog is trained that this is the proper position. I'm a statue now. I'm not supposed to move. I'll squat like this for as long as needed. Sometimes what happens is you'll see the dog sit down because it gets tired, and they'll pick him up and they'll reset him in that same stance, and the dog is just trained to stand there. Now, when you see this, and you see it in pictures a lot and different things like that, it'll fool you. You know, from all of the best dogs, camera tricks and different things have hid that. You know, Rocco has a high rear. Y'all heard me talk about that. Of course, Dax had a horribly high rear. There's a lot of dogs with very, very high rears, and you need to see them in stacking. I mean, in motion, not in stacking, to actually see this go on. You'll see a lot of other things come up. Like, you know, if a dog moves easty-westy, which I've told y'all that before, he's an easty-westy dog. You know, the dog will start walking, he'll turn his feet out. You know that. But the one thing that can never be hid in motion is the top line. This top line is so important because, and this is why y'all hear me talk about the dog's level back and everything, is because that displacement is just as important as the displacement on your spine. You know, we're built a certain way. Our bone structure is built a certain way to protect our spines from an amount of weight that it's going to have to endure. This is the same thing with the dog. With those high rears and that spine either taking that dip like that, or with the extra stress when it's just angled down like that, it's not meant to operate like that. That spine is actually meant to be level. It's right there being supported by the dog's structure, just like ours is upright, theirs is horizontal. The biggest problem is that this, you know, the extra stress on the spine causes neurological issues. Neurological issues go into a lot of other issues that actually go into things like issues with the organs and, you know, issues with the brain and everything else, you know. And what happens is, especially when it happens in puppies, you'll notice that with that bad top line and that issue beginning, it sort of transfers to other areas because the dogs with the discomfort a lot of times will turn themselves a certain way or start to have bad posture. And while they're growing, bad posture can actually turn into bad conformation because they sat a certain way or stressed the bone a certain way so long that it actually grows that way. So, you know, as far as your top lines go, back to the beginning of the video, like I told you, please, 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 make sure that you catch your dog in motion, you know. And you want to see that dog travel towards you in motion to see how his feet is moving. But as we're talking about on this video with the top line, you want to see the dog do, you know, go straight across where you're getting a chance to watch him going from side to side. And you also want to see the dog do like a circular type of motion, like walking him in a circle to see as he turns, do you see any weird things that happen with the back or with the hips? And believe it or not, some dogs that have issues even with the back, they have a hard time turning. Strange as it is, but they do have a hard time turning. And if your dog that you're looking at can't move freely and can't, you know, change directions freely, that's a structural issue that needs to be addressed. It could be ligaments, it could be bones, or you could see it obviously, and it could be just the, you know, the conformation of the dog and the body structure. But you need to look at these things because movement is probably the most important thing when you're looking at your dog, you know. And I'm talking about physical characteristics. You want to see if that dog moves as good as he looks while he's sitting still. Hopefully you're not picking a damn train wreck dog that as terrible as he is when he's sitting. But anyway, man, thank y'all for your time. We're back. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.